living a dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah.
I'm coming clutch, no stick shift. Ozone is my witness, and I.
Hello, everybody. Live from a beautiful day in Southern California. I'm Omar Miller, your host, and it's the Ozone. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat for you today in this post-fight weekend edition of the Ozone. We have a special guest, arguably trainer of the year. He's coming in, and he's coming in hot. He's enjoying his time in Los Angeles, so he's going to come in and hang with us for a second. You've heard him here before. Derrick James, who received the WBC belt last night to go along with his IBF belt for training now unified champion Errol Spence Jr. Can't wait to talk to him, talk about the fights. We had a lot of action last night at the Staples Center. A little bit of a debacle from Fox as far as everybody's tickets and everybody's credentials and yada, 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 yada. But I am happy that I went. I'm here with my brother Terry, the Icons, as usual. How do you feel today?
You don't seem happy to be with me.
Well, what can you do? You get who you get in life.
You've got mail.
And I've got mail. And you've got job. So, gonna start this piece with baseball. It's time.
It's time. Who's in the house?
The postseason is in the house, folks. The bracket is set. It's go time. And the Houston Astros have done something absurd. The Houston Astros are the first team ever to lead the major leagues in most pitching strikeouts with 1,671 and fewest hitting strikeouts with 1,166. In the age of the game not being played the right way, if you will, and I say that in air quotes because the way I learned how to play was the right way, but now it's a new world, it's a new era. But one thing that I've noticed is the teams that win the World Series are the teams that play the game that traditional way. They move runners over. They hit the ball up the middle. They hit the ball the other way.
They make contact.
They catch the ball. They field the ball. They throw the ball. They hit the ball. And keeping the ball in play is critical with that. And that is a big advantage for them, not striking out as much as the rest of the league.
Right. And it's the Astros, once again, who's leading all those categories, not striking out with defense. And the only thing that they don't do well, like we spoke before, is running the bases. They're not like crazy great at running the bases.
And the title runs through Houston. They got 106 wins.
Crazy.
Which is absurd.
That is crazy.
That is so many wins.
That is a lot of wins, dude.
That's a lot of games. 107. Sorry, they won today. They beat the Angels. 107 and 55. That's a nice season.
Another Springer dinger.
Man, and so that means they got postseason home advantage the entire way through.
Not good news for anybody.
And the only team that actually also has that is the Dodgers in the National League, who put up a great season once again. I mean, you came in front of the Dodgers, 106 wins. This could be a rematch from 2 years ago, potentially. It's a clash of the Titans. What I want to talk about is the playoff matchups that we know about and the playoff matchups that are to come. It's also kind of cool that Madison Bumgarner's season ended with an at-bat against Clayton Kershaw.
What did he do? Did he K or did he?
No, let's hear it. He got a standing ovation from the from the
Giants?
I thought it was AT&T. I know they changed the name of the stadium.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was Pac Bell. I remember when it opened, it was Pac Bell. Man, I was there.
It was AT&T.
Then it was AT&T. Man, Pac Bell. They used to charge so much money for
phone service in general.
Oh my God!
Now they turned over to AT&T. They still charge a lot.
Anyways, here it is, John. And he got jumped on, by the way. He got shelled. 5-0.
How do you like that?
Hi, Madison.
Go away. Go in the way party.
Big ovation, and let's see what the AB was. Clayton Kershaw. Oh, he swung for the fences on Kersh. This is outstanding. 3-2 pitch. I got a feel it's a K coming. What do we got? No. We got line drive. Line drive to third base. Well, that's how the season ended for one Madison Bumgarner. Then one thing that we do know is going down is the National League wild card is up first. It's going to be hosted by the Washington Nationals, and it's going to be against the Milwaukee Brewers because the Cardinals held on and clinched the title, which was huge.
And the Cardinals came in the front door.
Because it was in their own destiny. The destiny was in their own hands.
Yeah. And they did it the right way. if there's a wrong way to win them,
well, you got to get in the playoffs either way it goes, but you need to win the division.
And
because in that situation, they were going to be in a position where they ended with the same record as Milwaukee, then would have to play a tiebreak game with Milwaukee to then have to play a wild card game against the Nationals.
Exactly.
So you lose all your weapons within that process.
And you know that they were mad, the Cubs, the teams were mad at the Cubs for not playing their starters all the way through.
Well, and you got big news coming out there. Joe Madden made it official, and as usual, he was very, very professional. Let's hear what Joe Madden had to say in 15 seconds. Man, Major League Baseball they play a lot of ads.
Gotta get paid,
man. Ready, John?
Last night, back in my hotel room, and split a really nice bottle of wine.
Several.
What kind was it?
Camus, a nice bottle of Camus.
And we spent probably 30, 40 minutes together, really celebrating an unbelievable 5-year run. We thought back to when we first got together down at the beach in Pensacola, and we never could have imagined this working out as well as it did. And I personally never could have imagined having such a wonderful partner, someone so loyal and supportive, and someone from whom I learned so much about baseball and life, and someone who I consider a lifelong friend, and and our friendship continues. We just talked about it going through a transition, and we both agreed that this is this type of change that it's time, and that this type of change is a win-win. It's going to be great for Joe at a wonderful point in his life. He won't talk about this right now, but I will. There's going to be a bidding war for his services, and there should be, and he's in a great position, and I so look forward to his next chapter in baseball and in life, and it's going to be good for the Cubs too. I think we're at a point where we just need a little bit of change and something new, and that's natural. That's the natural way of things. Change, if you embrace it the right way, is good for all of us.
It's just time, and that happens. And great line I've talked to you about from a book I recently read. Never deny the truth of bad news. And in a way, bad news, but also good news at the same time. We're both going to move on. Cubs are going to flourish. Hopefully I get a chance to do this somewhere else. But there's no tear shed. It's a good moment for everybody, and we're both excited about our futures.
That was Joe Madden and Theo Epstein, in probably the most amicable divorce of a head coach and general manager that I've ever seen.
Madden puts you in the mind of Phil Jackson in a lot of ways with the books and the theory.
Zen master work. You're right. He does. And you can't be mad at him. I want to say, for one, he broke their curse, and he got the Cubs over the hump, down 3-1 in the World Series in 2016. I'd never thought they were going to come back in that World Series.
But how can you dismiss him so politely and then say that, we're going from here? Where can you grow? Where can you actually go?
Yeah. I don't know. But what happened was, it seems what they're claiming is he lost his ability to motivate the guys. And they won the World Series. They had a World Series hangover, and they were never able to get it back together to motivate the guys to be as good as they were in that 1 year. Mm-hmm. And, I don't think that you can really blame Joe Madden for guys not pitching the ball or catching the ball. Because this season they had terrible defense. You will never win a World Series with bad defense.
No.
It's not going to happen.
They didn't win their World Series with bad defense.
They sure didn't. They had good defense, and Kyle Hendricks was great. They had
good pitching.
Good pitching across the board. So anyways, who do you like in this in this wild card game, Milwaukee versus Nationals?
They have better pitching.
And then the Nationals are starting with Mad Max, and Dave Martinez said it was a no-doubter. He said everybody said, why don't you start Strasburg? He said Max is my guy. And Steven Strasburg stepped up and said, and by the way, if need be, I can close games. I used to close.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem. They shut you down.
And they have the arms to do it.
They got the arms
starters with the starters, so they don't have to rely on the bullpen.
Yep. And then on Wednesday, we got the Tampa Bay Rays at the Oakland Athletics.
I'm honestly going to take Tampa Bay.
Charlie Morton's on the bump against TBD for the A's.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
What Charlie Morton does works.
Yeah, it works all the time.
It works. It works a lot, and it has been working ever since the World Series. To be honest, that whole season it worked for him.
Yeah.
Wow. which leaves us to say that whoever wins that National League wildcard game is going to play the Dodgers. You think it's going to be the Nationals, who actually I think match up well with the Dodgers. But the series to watch, in my opinion, is the Braves and the Cardinals. The Braves and the Cardinals is a tight series.
I think the winner of that goes out and goes to the World Series.
I agree fully, and I can't really call the winner of that. I've been saying this to Cardinals all season long.
I have to go with the Cardinals.
But the Braves are a great team, and when they get hot, that's the thing. They're young. I'm very interested to see which Dallas Keuchel shows up. I don't know.
Get the real Dallas Keuchel, but that's only one person. Everybody else is suspect.
Yeah. Especially Fulton-Awitz.
And the bullpen is suspect.
I had him on my fantasy squad, and he was a bum. Yeah. Now, the series that everybody thinks is a wash that's going to be better than you think it is, mark my words on this, is the New York Yankees versus the Minnesota Twins.
I take the Twins.
Ooh, chomp. Wow, you going straight up on the Twins.
Yep.
Yankees with home field.
Yankees got home field.
Short porch.
Twins got more power. The Twins have better pitching.
Wow. And we don't know whether or not James Paxton is hurt. And Yankee fans were going stone nuts because he was pitching, but what's he going to do? Start the playoffs on 12 days rest?
Yeah, and they're supposed to get home field anyway. They were playing for home field at this point.
They were playing for something.
Yeah.
And the Astros would then potentially face Tampa. Actually, I think the A's match up better with the Astros than Tampa does, but we're going to see what happens. All right, folks, that's our quick postseason wrap up as far as our preview for Major League Baseball. We're going to be at you a lot this month because that's our favorite thing. Our second favorite thing includes our special guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, last night, if you signed up for the pay-per-view, you did not get cheated.
At all.
Clearly, the fight of the year happened last night at the Staples Center. A fight broke out, and one of the men who trained the winner, the trainer of the winner, one of the men who had an influential role on the night is here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you picked up a belt last night.
Yes, I did.
The man, the myth, the legend, who dropped a good 20, 30 pounds since the last time we talked to him. His voice even sounds leaner now, folks. I'm here to tell you, I'm going to talk to him. I might have to report down to Dallas for some 150-degree heat and a couple months of training. You won't even recognize me on TV next time.
That's right. That's right.
We got Derrick James here, ladies and gentlemen. Family of the O-Zone, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Man,
thank you.
Man, oh man. Now I want to jump right in it. We told some people that you were coming. Yeah. We have some calls to play because our fan base is excited to hear about how you crafted the plan to put together that dub.
Okay.
This is what I want to talk about. Wide cards on both sides.
Right.
It was a split decision, a majority split that you guys got.
Right.
116, 111, 116, 112. And one judge had it 115, 112, I do believe, for Porter.
Well, yeah.
So, Fox messed up our tickets. I was going to holler at you, but I figured you were busy. Fox messed up our tickets. Me and Terry ended up on different sides of the arena.
Right, yeah.
On my side of the arena, I had the fight going into the 11th round, 6-4 for Porter. On his side of the arena, we were texting back and forth. Yeah. He had it possibly 7-3 for Earl.
Yeah.
Now, what did it look like from obviously you got the ultimate view. Right. You know what I mean? What did it look like for you? We didn't get to hear what you were saying in the corner. Right. Talk to us about the fight.
So really, man, what happened was that it was we knew it was going to be a tough, grueling fight. Right?
Everybody, fake Shawn knows that.
We knew that what he was going to bring to the table was going to be amazing. Because he's gonna keep the pressure on.
High pressure.
And then the skill set and his punch accuracy is where he falls short because he doesn't connect. He doesn't land a lot of shots. He may come with the tenacity and it's like a lot of show, but he doesn't land a lot of shots. So we knew that also. So we had to make sure we were able to punch in between his punches, one of the things. But when you watch the fight, man, from my perspective, I'm sitting there watching it. I always see a close fight.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I always have to keep pushing my guy to be better, to do better,
to not leave it in the ref's hands, right? The judge's hands, right?
And so throughout the whole night, he was trying to he was landing some pretty hard, good shots.
Oh my goodness, he hit Shawn hard last night.
And Shawn landed some shots, but they were not shots like Errol landed.
No.
So those body shots.
The body shots were devastating.
Listen, put it like this. My shoulder's feeling better now, but like when we work in the midst, he knocked my shoulder out of place.
Wow. He got serious pop, this kid.
I get a massage every Sunday.
to stay loose, just to working with Errol Spence Jr.
I'm tight.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
You loosen, but you get tight. So it's like, he's a big puncher. So the punches that Shawn endured, I mean, I don't even know because I mean,
the chin and body of granite. It was.
Right,
I
right.
do believe that this is the first time that I've seen Earl completely and totally open up his arsenal.
Right.
I literally saw everything but the kitchen sink out there. The only thing that I felt like he didn't throw was that uppercut. And I felt like the uppercut was available, and it was the only punch that I didn't see him throw consistently. But I will say this. Watching him turn over that hook in the 11th round was so clutch.
It was beautiful.
I'm a clutch dude.
Right.
I love clutch.
Right.
When I played sports, I was clutch.
Right.
You can give me the guy that is mediocre all year but is clutch over the guy that gives you glitz and glamour and a bunch of numbers and
can't come through.
Frightened in the clutch.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys don't know the scores on the judges' cards. You know what I mean?
I heard afterwards, but yeah.
No, but I'm talking about during the fight.
Yeah.
During the fight, you guys don't know.
Right.
So you have to be thinking, this is tight. And he's thinking, this is tight.
Yeah.
And he clutched up with a big left,
Right.
with a left that he caught him with a lot.
Right.
It wasn't like that was the only time he caught him with
But
it.
I think it was the body work that actually got him to that point, right?
Right. You know, if you think about this, even in the beginning of the fight, right, he started hitting him in the body from the first.
Sure did.
Opening bell.
Right, yeah, hit him in the body. And but the opening bell, he hit it with straight shots. But when he was able to turn on in the middle,
Yeah.
at second, third, fourth, fifth, so you see like in the fourth round, Shawn started slowing down.
Sure did.
He stopped engaging. He started bouncing and just trying to jump in and jump out because he was like, I can't go at him like that because you.
He ate a lot of shots.
Then I said, listen, we're going to get to the inside. I said, go to the inside. You're beating him up on the inside. And I told him before the fight.
Which to me was a surprise because that was actually some real stud work because going to the inside in that scenario, the common logic would be the dude is trying to get in my chest.
Right, yeah.
I keep him at a distance because I have the length and so on and so forth.
Right.
You say that it became evident that Earl was like, all right, forget it. Let's just trade this. Let's fix it up on the inside.
Right, yeah.
Which you would think in theory would favor Porter.
Yeah, because it's like the taller guy. But remember we said earlier, he doesn't land a lot of shots. So he throws punches. He has a lot of like
Volume,
but not a lot of
Connections. Yeah.
So what he did was I said, well, you go into the fight, you said, well, okay, you're a taller guy. He got to come to us. So we're going to try to catch him when he's coming in. I said, or he'll try to counterpunch us. I said, but what we want to do is make sure we're going to go right in the chest. So if we're right in the middle, everything he throws has to be on the outside because he's not throwing here. If we control the center, it means everything has to come like that.
and that's actually the punches that he did land, the few bigger shots that he landed were those shots.
Right.
When he wasn't necessarily even with his head down. I remember him landing a big left with
Over
his
the
head
top.
down over the top.
Right.
Yeah, over the top to snap Earl's neck.
Right.
But it's interesting to hear that from a strategic standpoint.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the execution that your fighter had was incredible.
Right. The discipline that he had.
This is what you don't see now.
No.
You see guys with a good game plan, and they don't stick
And
to
you
it.
got to have somebody who can execute that.
Right,
Now, if you come up with the game plan, do you come up with the game plan together, or do you just come up with the game plan
I come
yourself?
up with the game plan. I mean, and I do like scenarios and situations, right? Because within a fight, I knew going into the fight, Shawn's going to be a boxer. I knew going into a fight, he's going to have to realize that it's not working, do something else. So, regardless of how much you box, Errol's going to have to box. But a fight's going to break out. So you have,
And one broke out, Jack. Man, oh man.
and so you have to prepare him for the fight. And so, but what we did was we prepared for the fight to fight 12 rounds. And then not only that, we had it to where he would box some rounds. And man, you see how when he hit him with the shot, he rotated. I mean,
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Hips,
The way he-
shoulder roll.
And then when they were against the ropes, he turned him.
Right, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
and so, it was kind of like he would turn him, Shawn was trying to turn him, but at the same,
There was a lot of do-si-do that went on because I don't want it to feel like one thing that if you didn't watch the fight, find the fight. The fight will be available eventually. I don't know if Fox does it like
it's still for sale.
Oh, it's still for sale.
Still for sale, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Go buy the fight today.
You're not going to get ripped off.
You're still not going to get ripped off. Even if you know who wins the fight, you're not going to get ripped off. And honestly, this fight, low-key, is kind of like a clinic if you want to get involved in watching fights.
Right.
It's a difficult fight to score. I agree with Keith Thurman, and I want to play something that Keith Thurman said after the fight that I feel like is very accurate.
I mean, look, I've said this many times, and I feel like this is another fight that really proves it, right? You got 20,000 people watching. You got hundreds of thousands that paid for the pay-per-view, right? Mm-hmm. I saw it. You saw it.
Great fight.
There's 3 people that matter. There's 3 people whose opinions matter. There's 3 people whose opinions will be heard. Everybody else is everybody else. So, I mean, he can win the fight. Split decision is a good decision, but I still had the margins close tighter than that, you know. But that's me. When Shawn Porter's doing what Shawn Porter does, there's certain judges that give him a lot of credit because he's put in a lot of work. There's other judges that give him no credit. And why is that? Because they don't see what he's doing. It's so short. It's on the inside. It's being smothered. As long as the guy is composed and has his hands up in some fashion, if you're not, like my coach Ben Getty said when we were in the amateur back in the day when it was the point system, if you're not slapping their head back, if you're not turning heads, what are you doing? It's hard to tell what you're doing if that's not what you're doing.
But it seemed like that's what Shawn was doing up until the knockdown. He was the guy.
But that's what I'm saying, you know. But they're so short. They're so short. You know, it's like right hook. There was a time he hit Spence with like what 4 uppercuts. Did y'all say? It's like yeah. Like damn, Shawn.
How did you compare this performance from?
So I hear what he's saying there. Yeah. And because Shawn does a lot of stuff that benefits and actually also doesn't benefit from him being small.
Yeah, but it was something that you said as well, is that from your point of view, it looked like that to you as well. But from my point of view,
now Keith,
saw something.
Now Keith and I were sitting on the same sides. Yeah. We were sitting very close to each other. Right, yeah. Every single person that I talked to on Terry's side of the arena since the fight was like, oh man, I don't know if Shawn, why he barely won any rounds.
To me, I mean, because you watch Errol's defense was unbelievable. I mean, that on the inside he was blocking, he was parrying.
That's what they don't see. He blocked shots. He was rolling with them.
Oh, he sure was
slipping them. So blocking shots, people equate that with possibly landing. You know,
I personally feel like there needs to be a new or a more clarified system of scoring in boxing.
Really,
seriously, not because there's anything wrong with the system. There's something wrong with the way that the system is explained to the audience.
True.
There's no other sport, I say this all the time, there's no other sport where you don't know what the score is going into the last inning, the last second, the last inning. No other sport. And I've always felt like CompuBox is suspect. I can't trust CompuBox because I've seen too many times CompuBox tells me one guy landed 3 times the punches the other guy didn't. I watched the fight and that's actually just not true.
Right.
True.
So there needs to be something and that's why I wanted to hear your perspective from where you sit at ringside and talking to your guy. Because from my perspective, Shawn ate a lot of shots. That's not even in question.
Right.
That's not in question. But Shawn also gave Errol more fits than I've seen anybody give him.
Oh, without a doubt.
Earl woke up today knowing he got in a fight.
True.
And that's not a bad thing. He got in a fight. That's
he's a
what
fighter.
you get paid for.
Yeah.
He's a fighter.
Right.
And I don't know if I was influenced because of the way that the gamblers disrespected the fight as being so lopsided,
right.
or by the way that the judges ended up calling the fight. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, the difference is the fight was even like it was because of the way Errol fought, not because of the way Shawn fought. Because of the strategy we had, not because Shawn's strategy was what it was going to be. It came out one thing, and it had to turn into another thing. And then a lot of times, he would be getting hit, and he would just go all out, and just start turning angles, and you know, and it was like it really burns more energy than anything. You know what I mean? And so, but it's like it had Errol sit back and box him, and move and box. It would have been kind of like a boring fight.
It would have been a much different fight, and it would have been a much less action-packed fight. Also, I actually think that's how you play games and lose a decision.
Right.
Because you don't engage with a guy like Shawn who's applying so much pressure.
Right.
It looks like you're running. Yeah, it looks like it looks like you're running as opposed to standing in it, because he stood in there. And I mean, everybody, that watches fights is like, man, Shawn is one of the most awkward fighters around, and also one of the toughest fighters around. And Earl stood in there and basically said, I'm the bigger guy.
I was amazed how strong Errol was. Right. I mean, compared to Shawn.
Basically, you know what's funny about it is this, look.
He had great leverage. He had great leverage. Balance. That's what he did. The great leverage that they're tied. That leverage and that balance are tied. Because for somebody who's tall, I don't like fooling around with shorter people.
Right.
Because the short center of gravity is a problem.
They have whoever's lowest.
Whoever lowest has the leverage.
That's right.
I have the leverage when it comes to dropping the punch.
Right,
But he's got the leverage when it comes to movement and exactly.
The tree trunk.
Yeah.
Right. So, if you think about this, like a lot of people say the fight was close, it was tight. But think about this. Errol showed, going into the Mikey fight, they thought he was one-dimensional. Right? Coming out of the Mikey fight, they realized he can box.
Right.
Then he said, okay, I'll box the boxer.
Yes.
And I'll bang the banger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all brawled the brawler.
I brawled the brawler.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, he showed the certain dimensions that people didn't even think he could do. Because they said,
he's got all the tools.
They said, what's going to happen when Errol gets in a dog fight? He's going to fight back.
And I'm going to tell you something. We talked about it on the O-zone before we even met you.
Yeah.
The level of respect that should have been in place from you guys going over there and taking the belt from Kell Brook has never been installed.
No.
It's never been properly, it has never, ever been properly shown, in my opinion.
It hadn't been.
Because, one, if you go back and watch that fight, that was a hard fight, man.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like they still don't have the level of respect that they should, because even after the fight, listen to the guys. I know that they're trying to get in the ring and fight him now, but a lot of them are, when I watch a lot of the commentary with a bunch of the fighters, they're saying, they don't want to give him credit for what he's doing out there. And I feel like he's a generational guy. And I don't know if it's just a ploy to try to get him in the ring.
Very rarely do people want to give the best guy the credit for being the best guy. That's why statistics are so important in a game like baseball or in a game like tennis.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? This is why the stats, when it comes down to certain things, I can't deny that Justin Verlander carved this year. I can say whatever I want to about how he's not this and he's not that. Justin Verlander just struck out 300 people and won 20-something games.
Yeah.
What else can I say? It is what it is. Right. Now, when you play, and I can't front on Roger Federer. I can't front on Serena Williams.
Right.
You can front on boxers if you want to by saying this other stuff. Now, where they're going to lose with that is, just like Earl said in the ring, Al Heyman lines him up and he knocks him down. There's only so much. I can tell you this much. I mean, I understand the stables, and last night was like a showcase for Al to showcase that he owns the welterweight division landscape. The guy on the outside is Terrence Crawford, who I personally think is overrated, and I've said that a long time. Not that I'm mad at Terrence.
No.
I like Bud's work, and I like Bud's work a lot at 140. Since Bud's been at 147, partially because of the stable situation, but partially just because of whatever Bob Arum is doing, he hasn't fought nobody at 47. I haven't seen anything at 47 that's on.
Test him.
You knocking out Jeff Horn in 9 rounds is not impressive to me.
No.
That's not impressive.
In 9 rounds.
In 9 rounds.
Yeah.
A guy that really, you could see Manny Pacquiao let up on so that he wouldn't hurt him at one point, and then ended up getting robbed.
Fight. Yeah,
and then ended up getting robbed behind that because he fought the guy in Australia. Right. Then the other cat that he fought, the Latino cat, I can't remember his name. He fought that other guy.
Benavidez, the
other Benavidez. That's it is.
Yeah.
That's David's brother?
It's older brother, yeah.
Oh, really? Oscar Benavidez what's the cat's name?
No, it's not Oscar.
No, it's Jose Benavidez.
Jose Benavidez. Yeah. And he beat him up and knocked him out in the 12th round.
He had the bad leg, too.
He had bum leg. But either way it goes.
But he had trouble with that a little bit.
At a certain point. But the thing is, that guy's not, he's not
elite.
Top 5 of the welterweights.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the welterweights right now, clearly it's Earl, Shawn. I mean, you can throw Keith in there, Manny.
I wouldn't throw Keith in.
And Crawford. Who else you got then? There's only 5 dudes. I'm saying 5 dudes.
Yeah, but I can throw Keith in. Keith is
out of 5 dudes? Who else is it then? But Keith.
Do you think you throw Danny in there?
Yeah, I would throw Danny in there.
You put Danny above Keith.
Yeah, because Keith honestly needs to take some time off.
Yeah, but Keith beat up Danny before he needed to take time off.
That was back in the day.
I'm with you. Listen, I'm the last one.
Keith is not what he used to be.
I agree with that, although Keith did come on strong late against Manny.
But Manny,
I agree with listen, I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting you on that. But what I'm saying, I think none of them want no smoke, child. Danny Garcia, Swift don't want no smoke. For one, he had fits with Shawn. The whole fight against Shawn, he was looking at the ref.
He sure was.
The pressure was way too much for him. And he was trying to complain about being mauled in the rough fight and this, that, and the other. Now, one thing I will say about this fight is, in the brawling, potential dirty fighting, so on and so forth that people talk about, I don't think that Shawn, I would say this was actually one of Shawn's cleanest fights.
He tried to intentionally not do that.
And it hurt him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because Earl was prepared to fight dirty, and he did fight dirty. Yeah. He fought dirty in ways that are pro moves because they were never penalized. I have to rewatch the fight. There was at least 25 low blows within the body work.
He hit him low.
He hit him low, but
Shawn's belt was up a little bit too.
Man, Shawn is 5'5", bro.
I know, but you can't act like
Shawn had his whole 12-pack showing.
Hey, look, you can't have it up to your nipples.
I'm wearing my pants and my nipples right now for the callers who can't hear. That was a personal shot from Derrick to me.
He went Geek Squad on him. He went Geek Squad.
I'm just saying, you can't,
yeah, but even with that, he went low, he went hips. All of which is part of the game.
I say that all day long.
That's part of the game.
I mean, I saw low blows and went.
Yeah, and ref didn't say nothing.
But no, he did. He came to the corner and said something.
Oh, did he?
Okay. Yeah, he said something.
Interesting. Okay.
He said something.
Interesting.
He didn't say anything in action because a lot of times he's on the wrong side.
This is what we would see. So this is what I'm talking about. And this is kind of off subject, but overall, I think this would improve the game of boxing. I'm not for automating anything. Yeah. There's got to be something because there's so much stuff in a boxing match that depends on where you're watching from. Like the ref. Right. Forget about where I'm watching from. I'm just a regular dude watching the fights.
Right, yeah, no doubt.
But there was times, and we saw it all night. It wasn't just in that fight. We saw it all night. We saw it in the Benavidez fight. Right. Man, David Benavidez fought so dirty. He got. Yeah. I know you were in the back. Did you get to see that fight or not?
I saw a little bit of it. I didn't
throwing elbows.
Hey man,
I saw him in with the elbow at the end.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! And that was after he cut his eye. Yeah. That was completely a ploy to get his eye leaking.
It was like unnecessary because
it was totally unnecessary.
You already had him cut. You already beat up. And he threw a punch. And it wasn't
even a punch. He threw a straight elbow. It wasn't a punch. I've thrown that before on the basketball court. It's not even a punch. That's a straight chicken wing. That's just right there for him. That's there. A little fried. 4-piece.
Yeah.
Might need 6. It's just wings. Not a lot of meat.
No biscuit.
But no, I need my biscuit. So with that, though, all of those are pro moves, in my opinion. It's the same thing like when you watch basketball in the post and you see somebody keep somebody down with their wing while they go up on the other hand. But it's stuff that needs to be addressed somehow or another by boxing.
What do you mean? What do you mean by address?
I mean that literally, I watched David Benavidez last night hold dog on the back of his head and hit him.
He did.
And the ref said nothing.
From our angle, though, we could see, from my angle, I could see that he was holding and hitting. But from the ref's angle, because his angle.
From my angle, he was clearly holding and hitting. But from where the ref was standing, he could not see that he was holding and hitting. Yeah. We're talking four sides.
Yeah.
This is the action happened. You know what I mean?
So that's shame on the ref then for not being in the proper position.
This is what I'm saying. But it's impossible to be in the proper position all the time in a fight.
But you know what? At the same time, I think that a lot of times referees may be experienced in being referees, but not experienced at being fighters. And so you may so from that perspective, you know what guys could do. And so, in a position, I could tell how a guy's standing what punches he's going to throw. Mm-hmm. Because it's only so, if you're here, you can throw everything. But if you're leaning here, you can only throw so many punches, right? So the referee's perspective is he's going off what they study over and over and over. But if you're not experienced in being a fighter,
you won't know.
You won't know. And so that's a lot of, so because even if you don't see it, you know what the probabilities are if you throw a punch like, hey, keep it up. Yep. Hey, do this, hey, do that. Because you already know. I mean, but Errol's punches were deeper And I mean, a lot of them hit on the butter, but it did.
No. I'm not accusing him of being a dirty fighter or nothing like that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
Shawn didn't even complain about it.
that was a problem for Shawn. See, this is my point. And this is also, there's a Rasheed Wallace element that took place last night, which was the ref, I'm sure included, people expect Shawn to be a certain way.
Now, do you
rough
talk to
and
him
tumble.
before the thing? Do you get to talk to the ref and say, hey, watch out for...
Oh, well, yeah. I told him, I said, listen, watch out for the elbow, watch out. Because he was giving his rules, whatever, and I chimed in. He was like, well, you know, the right-handed and left-handed fighters are fighting, and he said, listen, but it happens a lot more often when Shawn Porter's fighting. Well, don't. Then I started kind of talking, so let me finish my rules and then we can get to that. But, you know, you just have to put it on his mind that, you know, you're cognizant of
100%. It's like when you're in a hoop game and you know somebody's hacking, you're like, hey, man, hey, keep your eye out for blah, blah, blah. Or baseball. Yeah, same thing. Keep this a low. He likes a low one.
He likes a low one. He keeps it outside.
You can't give him that one. Yeah.
But if you know, at the same time, too, a lot of the roughhousing and pushing that Shawn was doing and pushing Errol's head that he never complained about. So neither one of the guys...
That was a great Ali move.
Never
great
none
Ali
of the
move.
guys ever complained.
And this is what I was going to say as well.
Not one of them.
In when we came to the locker rooms afterwards, one of the things that I told T was I thought it was beautiful. And since we weren't sitting next to each other during the fight, usually when we watch the fights together, we get to talk about this stuff, you know, side by side. One of the things that was beautiful was there was several clinches that they broke up. Right. That the ref didn't even break up, that they broke up, or that a guy was turned around and a guy could have took a cheap shot and he didn't take it.
The referee was not really even in the fight.
Not as much as I expected him to be.
I thought about but for a fight like this,
yes,
you would think he would probably interject himself into there a little bit more.
Yep.
Just because they would be flipping. I mean, like, you know, so it was like, but I think he's like, damn. I think it was just so much for him to even.
There was a lot.
Because I think.
And both of them came to fight. Nobody came to hold. Nobody came to, you know what I mean?
It took them all of a minute and 10 to 15 seconds before they started.
Just started chunking them.
It was like, okay, here we go.
Now, let's hear what the callers have to say. I ain't gonna wear you down, but I want to hear what the callers have to say because I know there's a lot of people that watch this fight that were pleasantly surprised. It's a dub for you guys, but it was I would say it was a win. It was a very somber mood in Shawn's locker room.
Yeah.
And I actually feel like Shawn won last night on the grand scheme.
Right.
Because there's no way you watch that fight and you're not a Shawn Porter fan afterwards. Sure. Because there's a David versus Goliath element that took place. Right. Because you watch the little guy take all that he could take and keep coming forward. Right. And even when he got dropped, I mean, you know, it really put me in the mind of when the Thai homie dropped Chocolatito.
Really?
Yes. You know why? Because there was that delayed reaction. You remember the first time the Thai homie dropped Chocolatito and he hit him in his heart. And you could see Chocolatito, he was still like in it and he was like, oh, shoot.
Not with Shawn, though, because
Shawn froze, too. It was a slow motion.
Well, Shawn was hitting the punch still, and he went through with the punch, but he was completely frozen when he got hit.
This is what I'm saying.
But when Chocolatito got hit, he went backwards, and you could see him.
He didn't go backwards at first.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't, because Chocolatito throws 1,000 punches. No, he didn't go backwards at first.
The Thai homie hit him, and he floated backwards on his ground. He would look like he was just in shock. He was laying on the floor in slow motion going backwards.
I'm talking about the way he went down, because Shawn went down the same kind of way. Shawn went down the same kind of way. Shawn looked like he was trying to
fight, put his glove on the floor.
He was. And I tell you what was beautiful. What was beautiful was Earl knows the kind of pop that he has because
he could have hit him again.
He could have hit him again. And he would have hit him again. And he would have hurt him.
I said you should have hit him.
I did. It would have ended the fight.
It would have ended the fight.
He wouldn't have been able to.
No chance.
There was no chance.
And he was wide open.
Balancing everything at that point.
Yeah. And I told him,
and all he did was walk away, and he walked to whoever it was on the side and said, "I told y'all."
But you know what? It was sort of like it reminded me of when Ali took down
Sonny
Foreman.
Liston. Foreman sure was. He didn't take that punch.
Foreman was going down. He didn't hit him. Yeah, he could have put it.
But he should have hit him.
He should have hit him.
From a professional standpoint, he should have hit him. That looked like the actual respect that they had as
in a humanitarian
way.
He didn't have any humanitarian.
So why he didn't throw the punch?
I have no idea why.
There you go.
Like you want to get him.
I think that when he hit him, I think he just knew he was going down, and because normally if he hit somebody with that punch, they're not getting up.
The show is over. I agree.
Shawn really is kind of like. He's really tough. You know what I'm saying? Like
really tough.
See, but this
really tough.
But
tenacity.
Years ago, I always learned that being tough can get you killed.
Sure can.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you what else Errol did that changed him throwing that punch, if you watch it in slow motion, is this is a testament to the work that Shawn was doing. Because what Errol did was he started to roll with the hook that he saw coming from Shawn. He throws the left, and then he covers up and starts to roll.
Oh, yeah, roll it off the shoulder.
Or it
Never
looked like
takes
it was
it
coming
flush.
to the body.
Right.
And he started to roll out of it, with the punch. And then it looked like halfway through the roll, he was like, "Oh, man, that's my fight might be over." Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful punch. Anyways, you got it queued up? Yeah, let's hear what the callers got to ask you. Whew, feel like I'm in Dallas, boy. Burning up in here.
Hey, what's up, fellas? This is Derrick. I had a question for Derrick about the fight last night. First of all, that was a great fight. And Spence showed some great discipline and precision. He showed great boxing skills and boxing talent. But my question was, the discipline that he shows in the ring, is that coming more so from himself, or is it something that you, as a trainer, has trained him to do? So that's my question for the day. You guys have a good one.
I think that the discipline he's shown is from within himself, but at the same time, to be a great fighter is to be a great student. I think that is one of his greatest assets. One of them, because he has many.
Yeah.
But he's a great student. He's never like said, "No, I don't want to do that." No. He's like, okay. Because he trusts and believes in what I'm telling him, and I'm showing him how to do it. And so I think that it comes from the both of us, because it's like his ability his desires to want to be what I want him to be is the discipline, but it's especially within himself, because he knows that he trusts me. So that's where it comes from. Also, I'm not telling him anything wrong.
Yeah. He knows you have his best interest at heart.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Next call. And folks, if you guys want to call,
it's Richie Parker from Sherman, California. I have a question. I want to know how long the camp was. It's for Derrick. I want to know how long was Errol Spence's camp, and what type of cardio did they have him doing in order for him to get through those championship rounds? Because it seemed like he was in an amazing shape, as was Porter. But I must say, you got to have that stamina to get through those rounds. So I'm just curious to know what kind of training you guys put him through. Appreciate it, and thanks.
Rich Parker, thanks for the call. If you guys want to call in to speak to, you can drop a line to Derrick even after the podcast, because he's a family of the Ozone. He'll be available to answer questions. Right. We're at 424-254-9663. So you want to pick that up. And to piggyback on that question, I'd like to throw something else out, because I saw some Errol put up today on his Twitter that he caught some flack for, which was, he said, "No nutritionist, no strength and conditioning trainer. This is just all me." He said, "This is just all me and Derrick," basically. Right. So, what do you have to say to the caller's question?
Well, what we did is that we do like a lot of rounds of sparring, do a lot of rounds of mitts, and he's an unbelievably, he has a lot of tenacity, and that we work straight through the rounds, so we don't do rounds like where we 3-minute rounds. We do 25-minute round.
Jeez
Louise. And then most times it's like I have to be in shape. Cause
I was about to say, no wonder you lost so much weight.
So then we do 25-minute round, but at the same time we may do like he said 15 more minutes or 10 more minutes. So we got it, and this is straight. Then after that he goes to the heavy bag. It's about 25 minutes, and sometimes they say 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. So he's pushing like more an hour just punching nonstop. Then we do strength and conditioning. We do work on his legs. He does a lot of dips, a lot of different stuff like that, lunges, and so
a lot of body weight work.
A lot of body weight work, because it's all about the lower body, and I do that. So that part, but it's like I'm not considered a strength and conditioning coach, but that's what I do.
But that's what you do. Right, yeah.
What I do. And so
clearly his strength and conditioning is up.
Right, yeah.
That's not in question.
Right, yeah. And so, I mean, when we spar heavyweight, so we spar a big guy. A guy he weighs like 215 or so. So he's not a tall guy, he's like 5'10", 5'11", but he's a good, fast, quick heavyweight. And we've always sparred this guy, so for years. So he just came more.
So regardless of who the opponent is, this is the sparring partner.
The sparring partner. Whether if we're fighting a left-handed guy, we still spar that guy. It doesn't make a difference.
Wow.
The strategy comes from the mitts. So I'm standing in the left-hand stance.
Got it.
He's getting around them with the sparring partners. And that's really kind of how we work it. I mean, so it's kind of difficult. Normally we get a guy that mimic this guy. And we never know.
Right.
No,
you never know.
Especially if they change the game plan.
Right. And we never do that. We just keep.
Do you?
I work on what the strategy and game plan is. I mimic the opponent from everything that I see him do, or I've seen him do.
Mm-hmm.
So I study him. I kind of like see what he does in time. So when he does this, does that, Errol is familiar with it. He recognizes the situation. So everything's situational. The punches you throw, I may throw a wide shot and I may bring him a little shorter. Because Shawn, and that's a possibility because he throws a lot of wide shots. But I say, okay, what if he throws a shot that's shorter? So I throw the shot, and I throw a wide one so you see the difference, and I shoot a shorter shot. So every time to make him adjust to those.
In real time.
In real time. So it's not like when he gets in the ring, he's like,
oh, I didn't work on this.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, because you, as a fighter, see, I never take myself out of fighter's place. I'm a teacher fighter. Is that you never want to go into a fight and question yourself, wishing that you had done this or done that. But it happens every day of the week when somebody's, I wish I would have did this, I wish I would have did that. Because even like when I'm teaching these guys, sometimes they may not get it. But I never get off of that until I get it. Because I think, okay, man, let's keep moving. No, this is significant. So I need to make sure they get and understand everything I'm talking about because that scenario may present itself, and that's where you lose one. That's where you lost.
So you can catch you at.
Now let me ask you this: who taught you?
Well, you know what's funny? I had a great trainer, Taylor August is his name, but what happened is that was my foundation, and I've grown from that. Which is what happens is that I'm here, but when I start teaching boxing, I had to be in your seat,
right?
Looking at it, seeing how it looked, right? So, and how would I want? Like my trainer told me, do this, do that, do this, do that, but never explained to me. Okay, if you do this, you're gonna get that. If you do that, you're gonna do this. So it was like I chose to teach instead of train.
You went the Mr. Miyagi route. And it's clearly effective with all of your stable, with all the guys.
Oh, yeah, I chose to teach instead of training. And so what happens is, because I want you to understand every action.
It's a totally different animal when you can understand why you're doing something versus when you're just doing what you may consider to be just some busy work or some menial work.
Right.
And which is, you may not take it as seriously. And next thing you know, no, this actually had a very big meaning.
Right.
It's a significant meaning. But just to finish up on that question, how many weeks was the camp? Or how long was the camp?
Well, you know, we started because he was heavy, you know, so we started like about 10, 11 weeks. Because you got to start getting the weight down, and like people seem that he's huge, right?
What does he walk around at? What weight?
I don't know, man.
Early, good. Earl is he's a southern Earl. See Earl, he's a southern dude. What you want some Earl?
I can't even tell you the weight. No. But what happens is,
but it'll get there.
When he's getting in it, man. To where he's like, you start seeing like, man, God, look at you, you know. And then he's like, okay. And then next week, okay, all right. You can see it.
You see the transformation.
You see it, yeah.
Wow.
Then by the time he shows up, people see him again. He's like whipped up. He's right. So it's like, yeah, he put running twice a day, pushing himself. It's a diet. Yeah, he didn't. Now, we did use the nutrition at the end, like the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that was only for him to keep his strength, you know.
But keep his weight down.
But keep his weight down, yeah. Keep his strength, keep his weight down. Not be starving, not be, you know, like...
drained.
Oh, yeah, that. Drained and dehydrated. That's the key element you don't want in training camp.
Especially if you know you're going to be in a war where you probably got to go the whole dozen.
And the gym was 110, 115 degrees. So, you know, it's like, you got to be...
A humid 110, a Texas 110.
Yeah, Texas 110.
Woo!
Was it bugs around in there in the gym, too?
Hey, man, listen, you know what? At nighttime, some mosquitoes may come in.
Wow.
But in the daytime,
that's your toughest opponent on the planet.
For real.
Mosquitoes, ain't nobody tougher than mosquitoes.
They're not going anywhere, man.
You can't beat them.
You can't even see them.
You can't even see them.
So
we were just talking about this.
They're so light when they land on you, you don't even know.
Well, you know what they do too is when they sting you, their poison numbs your skin, so you don't even know that they're on you
until after they leave. What are you doing?
They can just sit there and get fat on your blood behind. They froze. They poisoned you up.
Right. What's funny is I'm gonna tell you, my gym is near a river. But they only come out at nighttime, right?
Well, that's how they're supposed to do. It's these new GMO mosquitoes that like to come out in the day now.
Because see, they don't have anything else to do. Because you,
you know what, man? Let me go bite tea, man. I ain't got nothing to do.
It's like this. Once they get in the building, they're in the building.
Yo, you can't. You need the whole thing.
They're resting when they would go rest in trees to do whatever.
Yeah.
They up.
Yep.
And them jumps be on you. I mean,
oh man.
You know, like man, everybody like man, what that?
Yeah. Especially a bunch of healthy blood too, right? But a bunch of healthy, clean blood. Forget about it.
What's funny when I lived in Vegas, right, and I was like getting ready to move back to Texas, I said, "Oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna move back." They're like, "Why?" I said, "Man, I don't like mosquitoes."
You like me? They tear me up too.
I take it in Vegas. Well, what's the trip is? It just recently became a phenomenon here.
Right.
We know this is off subject, Ozone listeners, but this is actually very on point.
It is
because you have to say it's a part of the climate change.
Right.
Let me tell you something. 40 years of my life, there hasn't been any mosquitoes except for the kind that bite at night, and you can deal with them. It is what it is. All of a sudden, we got crazy mosquitoes that bite during the daytime. They're giving people typhus.
Right.
They got the West Nile popping.
They got something that's swelling people's brains.
Yeah.
They bit my they bit me on, yeah, they bit me on my foot, and I couldn't even put my shoe on.
Man, he came over one day. He showed me his arm looked like my leg. I was like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Fooling around with them mosquitoes.
Yeah.
We got another call?
Hey, this is Dennis. Great performance last night. I heard Spence say that he'd like to fight Pacquiao. I know Omar's a big Pacquiao fan, but I think Spence would put him right into retirement and just that would be destruction. But I'd like to see him fight Bud Crawford. So what's the chances of that happening? Because I truly believe Bud hasn't fought anybody good, and I think Spence will give him the business.
Tell us how you really feel, Dennis. So I guess the question is what happened to the Manny fight, and then is a Bud Crawford fight on the horizon?
You know what's funny is that I have a whole big spiel about the whole Bud Crawford thing.
Oh, then lay it on us. We got nothing but time.
But it would be like if we got time.
We got time. This is a special. This is a post fight. Yeah. This is a post fight edition. You're the honored guest. Lay it on us.
So listen. So this is what I said about the Bud Crawford fight. Is that if you watch, and I'll talk about what PBC and Fox does for Errol.
Mm-hmm.
They market him, they promote him, they build him. Mm-hmm. He's very recognized. They put him on Fox, which is conservative television.
Yep.
To just a crossover, right?
Right.
With Joe Conservative, a.k.a. Jerry Jones, at Jerry World.
Oh, yeah. Now listen, so think
that's
about
a big deal.
It is.
And that because see, those people love Jesus, but they worship money. You know what I mean?
Preach.
That's perfect.
But what happened?
That's a great way to put it.
So, but what I'm saying is that, so when that rich guy says, this guy's good, this guy's okay, he's okay for everybody.
That's how it goes.
And so what happens is, they're marketing and promoting, they're running commercials. Think about that. The fight for the Shawn Porter fight, commercials were running during football all day on Fox. Mm-hmm. Every day.
College football, pro football.
Right.
Yep.
And they were running the spots.
Major League Baseball in the Midwest.
Right. But you've never seen anything like that for Shawn Porter.
Oh, you mean for Bud Crawford?
For Bud Crawford. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
You never seen him. I'm not Al, but Bob won't even talk about him really.
He keeps it low.
Does.
And honestly, I feel bad for Bud because he's not. Clearly, he's not scared to fight anybody.
He's a good fighter.
He's a good fighter.
Right, yeah.
And I believe that just like how Errol said,
himself.
I was just about to say, just how Errol said, you know what, I got to go across the pond and take Kell Brook's belt, then maybe this will start things cascading my direction. This is why Bud moved up to 47. Right. Bud was like, I need to challenge myself and show everybody how good I am. I'm going to represent for where I'm from. Right. And he's done so in the limited ability that he has to do so.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that.
I mean, why in the world is he fighting Amir Khan?
Well,
are you
why would
crazy?
Anybody fight Amir Khan?
Why are you fighting Amir Khan and they got you pound for pound? I mean, for a long time they had him pound for pound as number 1 in the world.
They sure did.
And fighting Amir Khan?
But think about it though. In that fight though, Amir Khan was the draw.
Yeah. That's true.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's why you fight Amir Khan. Well, there you go. You answered my question.
So if you think about it, there's no other boxer in boxing other than Pacquiao, which is kind of a non-factor. Because he's kind of on his way out. Mm-hmm. Who's more accomplished than Terrence Crawford right now? Because he was undisputed champ.
At 40?
At 140. No, he was 135 champ.
He sure was. And then he went up to 140, got him 2 belts, I think.
Undisputed. He won them all.
Got them all.
Got them all. And now he's the WBO welterweight champ. So there's no other boxer in boxing that accomplished. But at the same time, there's no other boxer in boxing that accomplished who nobody knows.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing about this.
Man, that sucks.
His last fight when he fought Amir Khan, they had 98,000 pay-per-view buys.
Wow.
So listen to me. Like I told people this.
First and foremost, that shouldn't be a pay-per-view fight.
No.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
You got to give that one away.
But
you got to give that one away. You got to give that one away to showcase the young man's.
You got to bless him.
Yeah, you got a spectacular ability.
But they're not thinking like that. They're trying to keep up with. If we figure like if we get him in con, we got to pay him the money.
Right.
We don't have the money in the budget, but we can sell it and pay him the money.
Right.
Because every time Terrence Crawford fights, they lose money.
Because they're giving him his dough.
Because they didn't want him to go to PBC. They'll never say it because it's
clearly
right. They didn't want him to leave, so they said we'll give you $3 million.
Right.
Guarantee the fight. But what happens is now the fighters from PBC are making
big money.
Big money.
And everybody, and besides just making big money, which I'm happy about for all the fighters, they're actually having good fights with each other.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
They're having good fights with each other. And one thing another thing Keith Thurman said in that interview that I thought was relevant is he said, you know what? There's about 5 of us now who are all young and we're all in our prime and we're all willing to fight each other. Right. And he said, and clearly coming from his perspective, he has to say that. He was like, I feel like it could be my division. It could be, he's like, it's all still up in the air. Right. The person who's getting froze out in this is Bud Crawford. Right. He's not even in
but for the longest, though, they were freezing out Errol.
Yeah.
And so
that was a different kind of freeze out. That wasn't a freeze out. Yeah, that was people being hard to fight. That was him. That was people not wanting to fight him.
That was being the boogeyman, as you said.
That's what it is. The boogeyman.
But Crawford is more of business.
It's a business thing.
But let me finish my show.
Oh yeah, lay your spiel out.
So
we had 98,000 buys with Amir.
98,000 buys with Amir. Now peep this. So if he fights Errol has 3 titles now.
Right.
So that's the deal. And Bud has 1. So,
and big pay-per-view.
Right. So say possibly Errol makes $20 million, and because it's a super fight, Bud makes 10. Right. Now when Bud fought Errol fought Mike Garcia at 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Now you multiply that, and you add that up with what Terrence Crawford has, 590. And say the fight's $75. That's $45 million. So. And listen, $45 million. Now, the purses of those 2 fights I just told you was $30 million because Errol gets 20, gets 10. Now, you telling me 2 networks and 2 promoters are supposed to spend $15 million.
Ain't going to happen.
Right, ain't going to happen.
So, you see what I'm saying?
It's not going to happen. It's not enough money.
That's why the fight is not worth talking about because...
Until somebody get their weight up, which is Bud.
Damn, man! That's what I've been telling people. You gotta listen. You understand? You got to get the weight up because why would a network? You got 2 networks, and not
big networks and dudes with big money,
and that's not no money to them.
No, this is dinner money.
Think about it, that's $350.
What they gonna do?
$5 million a piece.
Come on, man.
That's not enough to go through the hassle.
No,
I got to get Omar Miller tickets. I got to get Anthony Anderson tickets. That's not even enough to go through the hassle of catering to all the celebrities who want to go.
Right. So think about that. So see what I'm saying? So from the perspective, because it's all financial. Like I told the guy, oh man, we want to see. Man, listen, if boxing was ruled by boxing fans, boxing wouldn't exist. Because we need to. What I'm saying about this is that the fans do what they do. Right?
Yeah.
But it has to be the guy who does not know what boxing is, but who's intrigued, who's sold on the idea. Like this fight, I bet it does good numbers because that like our fight camps was so high. The
visibility was through the roof,
and the Nielsen numbers were so high.
I mean, you guys are on the biggest.
Right.
If you're on during football, baseball, and college football, that's a lot of exposure.
It is.
We came on in between those games.
Yes.
Think about that.
And did the face-offs and the whole everything.
So see, that's what I'm talking about.
Which is good marketing.
So
kudos to Al Heyman. Just get your ticket game together so I can be in the right seats.
And think about this.
I mean, they had them all messed up. Everybody
you couldn't even watch
fights in the stands.
Matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, between rounds 3 and 4, let's get this out there too. Texas, stand up, because Texas traveled well last night.
They sure did.
I mean, the only people that I tell you what, David Benavidez had a good showing as well as far as his crowd.
Dog had a posse on our side.
And I heard Dog posse on the other side. And so right behind my seats, literally, and it's a trip too because Jesse Vargas was over there. It was professional fighters like in the middle of where the fight broke out. A street fight broke out. So they're in there scrapping. And eventually it airs out. And it started right at the end of round 3 of your fight.
Yeah.
The crowd goes nuts, right? Nobody's watching the ring. But it was almost exactly 1 minute long because the round was about to start and security shows up. Some fool start chunking him with security, got choked out.
Who did he?
LA you style. Crazy? LA style. That's why they were so serious about the credentials and stuff when we were going back because some knuckleheads decided they wanted to get busy.
They put somebody in the chokehold.
Punk step up and get beat down. It was real. And and in that though, Texas traveled really well. Dallas. And Dallas traveled really well. Yeah, and they represented, and it was cool because another thing that I loved about that is you hear so much boxing is dead. You also hear so much that only the Mexican crowd, it's a crowd that travels.
I got some on that too.
You know what I mean? And clearly that's not the case. Mm-hmm. Once again, a great event at the Staples Center for boxing. Great event.
Okay, now listen. When people continue to repeat the narrative that the boxing is only moved by Mexican contingent, it's malarkey. Because I'm telling you what, listen, if you think about this, how many great, like, superstar Mexican fighters that have been in history? 3.
I was just about to say about 4, 3 or 4, yeah.
Look, De La Hoya,
Chavez,
and Canelo. So 3, right? But how many superstar black fighters that have been?
Well, come on, man.
You know. And that's not the
No, you're not stoking the flames.
That's just to say that it's the reality of it. I went to Canelo versus Danny Jacobs fight.
Right.
It was dead. It wasn't sold out. It was no black people at the fight.
And I tell you what, black people bring a very specific energy to the arena. Man, last night I seen a chick walk by in a fishnet bodysuit who just with some drawers on underneath. I was
like she was coming for the fight.
She was coming as a pure distraction to somebody.
You're auditioning for me. I'm going to get on TV tonight.
They here.
By hook or by crook. I'm getting on.
Here. I'm getting on tonight. Yeah. Man, it was wild. It was wild. But that was a good one. We have any more calls? Or that's all the calls? Yeah, man.
You know what I want to ask you about? What about your roster of fighters that you have? Because
like when we came in the back last night, we saw the Charlo brothers were there. Right. There was a lot of love in the air back there.
But the thing of it is that all of you guys have a hard time getting fights, right?
No, they don't, man. I mean, I think that I think Errol is the one who's more difficult, right? Mm-hmm. And Jamel at one point was, but with the situation just happened, he and J-Rock won the title, so now he wants to fight Jamel, right? But he wants to fight Errol also. Yeah. But Errol beat him before in the amateurs. So maybe we want to get that back. I don't know.
Yeah. He got something that he wants to do.
But what happens is that people start to speak about the guy who can get them the most money.
Of course.
When they realize, man, I want the most money. I want to get off to the big fish. And he's himself, like Kenny calls himself the boss. Errol is the big fish. He calls himself the big fish. So
that's why I start putting that out now on his Twitter and stuff. And he is.
Yeah, he is.
He
right
is.
now.
Yeah. He is. I think if things continue on this trajectory, Earl has the potential to do heavyweight numbers.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, he's a generational
He
talent.
has that.
Heavyweight 90s numbers.
Yeah. That's the real heavyweight numbers. That's what I'm
the
that's
HBO
what I'm
numbers,
about.
huh?
The crazy, the Mike HBO number. Yeah. Even the deal, all those fights with the deal and Riddick and even the deal. Lennox Lewis did numbers.
Yeah.
Like that's the glamour division. It's supposed to be. It turned in little man turned into the glamour division.
Yeah.
But I think you guys got a beautiful future, man. You guys clearly you have a great working partnership. That's not even in question. I'm excited to see what's next. Now, how do you guys determine how much time to take off between fights?
Well, we talked about that yesterday. But he's like, man, I'm not talking to Derrick to December. Like, no, man, you talking to me.
So he come back 225.
I'm giving this up. Right, yeah.
Earl about to. I didn't want to tell you. Earl called me. We about to go get something to eat. Earl's gonna come on set, get him some craft services.
Yeah. He's really like. I said, no, you gonna go out for a week or two, maybe even 3.
Right.
Then we coming right back in the gym because you're not getting heavy like that no more. We got to stay.
You had enough of that.
Well, it's not that fact of that. I just think as a fighter, it's like you go to work. You can't have a job and show up, take a vacation like that. He didn't have a baby. I mean,
he ain't no maternity leave.
That's hilarious. I'm just saying you got to come on back in there,
You gotta get back in.
And you got to just keep this, and we just work. And we kind of really work just to keep him busy. So it's not working on anything particular. We don't even start working on like Danny Garcia or
right.
Shawn Porter.
General work.
We don't. Yeah, just general work. So and once we get that, once we get him going, keep his weight down, we just push from there. But yeah, we're not doing that anymore. So nah, he'll be. It's like going to work every day. But he can miss some day. I mean, we're just working.
There you go. You got anything else?
Nah.
Well,
not like that because. Oh yeah, you know what? Who would you compare Errol to from the past? He puts me in the mind of sort of a Marvin Hagler type.
You know what?
Because the lefty shot?
And the way that he can transition from southpaw to orthodox, he does it really, really smooth like Marvin Hagler used to. And he keeps himself,
he'll do it every now and then,
Yeah, I don't see him switching that much.
Yeah, he don't do it all. I mean, like one punch, but I think more Ray Leonard.
Really?
Because I think the only reason why, because he's very tough and he has a lot of tenacity and he's very vicious, which Ray is like this guy who's considered to be the darling of the sport at the particular time. But he was very mean and very rugged. And Errol is a guy who, he tracks the ladies out there and to the fights.
Let me tell you, I was there last night.
The fish net.
I saw that.
You saw the fish net.
Was on the that's a big component, man. It's a big component.
Yeah.
You get the women. Think about it. There's been 4 fighters in history to get the women out there now. Muhammad Ali being the first.
Sugar Ray
Leonard been the second. De La Hoya been the third. Errol been the fourth. Well, no. Canelo is 5 because Canelo get him out there too.
Yeah. They come out for cinema.
And then,
I can't front.
Sugar Ray Robinson, though. He used to get him.
Yeah.
And Joe Louis.
Joe Louis used to have him.
He
used to have
No, wait. Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson was originate.
Yeah, he did.
That was a part of the problem.
He had to get out of Dodge.
No, he had to get out of Dodge. Take his down to Cuba.
It
didn't work out right.
Everything.
Yeah,
He had to get out of here.
Jack was getting women so much they had to make up a law called the Mann Act.
Really?
Yep.
Hey, think about it. Yeah, and he went to basically
interstate transport.
He didn't go to prison.
No,
but they stopped him from. And this was the thing about it too. Jack Johnson dated white women in 19.
That was a big thing.
Yeah,
that's why he had to. That's why he had to leave the country for a little bit.
1908, 1909. You know what I mean? So right after this, is like what 50 years after slavery?
Yeah, real tight, real close.
Really,
that's why they was bringing everybody out the woodworks to fight him.
Really, 40 years out of slavery because 1965. He was up there. He was knocking them down. So
so now is he your greatest heavyweight? Now you jump ship.
What?
Jack Johnson?
No, I'm just saying about because
he's talking about where they bring out the women to the fights. But I agree with you. This is a key component in marketability. I tell people all the time. I did a film with 50 Cent, his first movie, Get Rich or Die Trying. And 50 had sold 11 million records. He was, hottest dude in the game. He was coming out with a new album. He was playing a new album for us while we were making the movie, all this stuff. And I remember one day, me and a couple of other cats on set had found we shot in Toronto, a lot of Jamaican Caribbean food. Wasn't really versed at the time. So we had some ox or something like that. And he came and he was hitting the weights in the village where the trailers are. And he came and started hitting the weights. He saw everybody play. He said, "Oh, y'all eating good, huh? Yeah, y'all eating good. I'm a little jealous. I ain't in front. I'm going to tell you the truth, though. I got to sell these concert tickets, and the women come out to see me and see what they saw in the video. I come out there after that oxtail. They could be like, wait a minute, what was this? I ain't pay for this." He's like, you $1.25. You ain't even 50 cents no more. And this is the thing. If you can bring the women out to be a component of your success as far as marketability, women are spenders. Right. It doesn't matter what we're talking, whether you get them to buy it.
More than men.
Oh, yeah.
Way more than men.
Whether you get them to buy a pair of earrings, whether you get them to buy a television show, whether you get them to buy a fight, whatever that motivation is that makes women come out, whether it's excitement or intrigue or whatever.
Especially women bringing out the men. You know what I'm saying?
Women are going to come.
There was there was a lot of women with their dudes. I sat in between three couples.
Or there are women who come just as groups. I remember I was in New York.
There were so many women as groups there last night.
Women like this. Oh, I went to New York when he fought on my piece. Oh, I went with my girlfriends. I'm like, you went with your girlfriends?
Yep.
So, okay, well then, you know.
That's a big deal.
That's when, and listen, and not only black women, everybody.
Oh, no. All kind of women were out.
Which is beautiful because that's when you really pushing the issue. That's when you really kind of
that breaks new ground there.
Right, yeah.
Now, one thing I want to do before we wrap it up, though, you didn't get to see it, but I want to talk about that fight with Dog against Benavidez. Oh, because we didn't get to speak on it.
Some of it.
Now, we know Dog is definitely family to Ozone. We saw him at the weigh-in at the grand arrival, and he was pumped. He came ready. He came in good shape. To me, he came out and won the first 3 rounds, I would say. Yeah. And
good boxing, I saw that.
Good footwork, good hand speed, and good head movement.
Yeah. And he had a lot of spring.
And he had a lot of spring.
Kept the distance.
And he frustrated David Benavidez.
Right, he made Benavidez look really slow.
He made him look like Frankenstein.
Big time.
And that's and everybody knows that listen to the Ozone. There's 2 fighters that before they exploded like that, I was high on. One of them was David Benavidez and the other was Errol Spence. And I told everybody about both of them, like, hey, these guys are the best in the league. These guys are the best in the division right now at that weight.
I got a question. So both of y'all said y'all saw the exact same thing.
We saw different things.
Yeah. No, but you said when you saw David Benavidez.
Oh, yeah.
And that, the Dog fight. How did y'all see 2 different things when Shawn and Errol were fighting?
No, I didn't see I don't know what, I didn't really talk to you about that Benavidez.
But y'all just kind of, no, y'all didn't, but y'all both said this.
Because that was so obvious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the elbows and stuff like that?
Well, no, with the speed factor.
Oh, yeah. The footwork. He was throwing haymakers.
He got, it kind of put me in the mind of Fury Wilder.
Yeah.
When I was watching it, because it was footwork. And
not only that, Benavidez looked like a plotter at that point. He was just plotting. He was trying to figure it out. He couldn't figure it out.
And actually,
he got frustrated.
He got frustrated, started to try to bully Dog. And one thing Dog did was that Darrell went to his body with the jab. And it was super effective.
It was.
Man, he went to the body early with the jab, and Benavidez act like it didn't mean nothing, but you could see that it was frustrating him. Part of the problem I saw was Benavidez clipped him a couple times. You know, the kid's got heavy hands. That's not even in question. But Dog started doing that thing where you posture for the crowd and for the judges. That's when he caught the punch.
Got cut.
Yes. And that's when he caught the punch that cut him.
Yeah.
Which changed the entire fight.
Because he couldn't see.
That's it. And to his credit, he came out and went crazy when he couldn't see and they looked like they were about to stop the fight. He came out and went stone loco.
And that was a bad cut, too.
That was a bad cut.
He had been cut there, I guess, a couple of times, right?
Yeah, that was a bad cut.
You couldn't, it was open to.
It was open. Little piece flew out at one point. That's why everybody was like, oh, they showed it on the replay. Little piece literally just came out. And he was pawing at it. He can't get that back. But that's part of the problem. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't get it back from when it was cut before.
Nerves and it's like scar tissue. Probably.
That's exactly what it is, and it's ready to break up. That was a sharp shot that busted it open.
Yeah, because I couldn't tell before if it was a headbutt or a shot. So I asked him actually, and he said that it was a punch.
Yeah. It was a punch.
So you asked
Damn.
Dog?
Yeah, I asked Dog.
Yeah, okay.
It was a punch. And it was a sharp punch because it was part of the feint posture situation, and he snapped off a quick one, and you could see it like his eye just bumped open.
You know what's funny is that Benavidez was getting a little frustrated also.
Yeah, he's very frustrated
at the end of the fight. Because why are you beating a guy like that, hitting him, and you throw an elbow? What is that about?
That didn't make any sense.
That was low class, and one thing that's good for Benavidez, being only 22 years old, he has a long ways to ascend. And I talked to some of his people afterwards. I don't know if it was his trainer or who it was, but I was telling them that about him going Frankenstein on a lot of the stuff. And I was like, that's the slowest I've ever seen David look. And part of it was what Dog told us before the fight. He was like, he knocked out a bunch of people who he was supposed to knock out who decided to stand right in front of his face. He's like, I'm not going to stand in front of his face and just get beat up.
And when Dog did stand in front of him, he was here and he was here. You know, he
blocked a lot of those shots. Blocked a lot of those shots.
Discouraging, very discouraging.
Yeah, the kid got frustrated. It was clear. If Dog's eye doesn't get cut, he could keep up the routine that he was doing for 12. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the kid had gotten tired because he didn't do a great job at cutting off the ring.
I don't think he knows how.
His goal.
He doesn't know how, right?
His goal.
I don't know if he knows how, but I know he didn't.
He didn't do it that night. And his goal, once he got frustrated like that, was to literally bully and push Dog on the ropes and try to tee off, to which Ant did a great job. He blocked those shots. He blocked those punches. He rolled those punches the whole song and dance.
Kept his composure too.
He sure did.
But this is the thing what we talked about. You see how big David Benavidez was over him?
Yeah.
Dog's not a little guy.
I know. He looked like a giant.
He looked like a giant.
Yeah.
I mean, his back was big. I mean, he looked.
Guy's the big dude, man.
How much did he weigh? I mean, that's the question.
He must have came in close to 200 because he
had to be at least 185, 190.
Yeah, he came in. He was easy 190.
Yeah, I mean,
he was big.
When you see it from the angle where the camera was showing, it's like
over.
I mean, it's like, what the heck?
Cat's in front of me said, man, he's shaped like a spatula. His back looked like he was shaped like
Red scoop somebody up.
Back of things. Get that in you. Yeah, his back was huge. And you know, and honestly, it seemed as though, even though he was playing some of it off, I think frustration was the name of the game if Dog could have continued without getting his eye cut. Because part of the problem was Benavidez, he ate a lot of big shots. Dog hit him hard.
Sure did.
But Benavidez didn't seem like he was worried about getting knocked out. Although there was a point in that fight, we didn't get to talk about it. There was a point in that fight where Dog had him in trouble.
He did.
I think it was like the third round. He popped him with a combo and hit him with a three-piece.
He hit him with a jab.
Hit him with a jab to the body, a jab to the head, and a big right. He stepped in with a big 1-2. And it was like a 1-1-2, but it was a low high, then a big right. And you saw Benavidez kind of stumble.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff will work all the way up until the end of the fight. If he doesn't get cut.
If he doesn't get cut.
Because I didn't.
And then when he did.
I didn't see Benavidez making an adjustment.
I didn't see him making no adjustments. He wants to plot and he wants to drop his big bombs. And the thing was, even the couple times where he did line him up before it became an all-out brawl, what Dog did that showed his experience was he wrapped him up.
Yeah.
And there was nothing he could do. He couldn't break the wrap. He couldn't get, he couldn't get out.
You know, the key, the best thing about Benavidez is that he's a work in progress.
Yes.
Which was the best thing for Dog. Is that he's a kid who's not all the way to where he needs.
No, he wasn't all the way there. But he could have beat him. He could have beat him with obviously the eye thing makes a big deal.
Right.
But I think he had the right game plan when you watched it.
Right. It sucks the life out of you because
I can only imagine.
You have to be like a special kind of like situation. I mean, I don't even know what it takes. I've been cut before.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what it would take to like forget it. You know what I'm saying? But
it seems like it's almost impossible because the blood is going in your eyeball.
It was in his eye.
And he kept pawing at it, which made it worse.
Right, yeah. But I think that was the greatest attribute because the guy still is a work in progress.
Yeah.
And for him.
That's a great fight for Benavidez last night. He should have learned a lot.
Without a doubt. And I think that you'll see him get better and better and better, but I believe that he'll be bigger.
He's going to go to 75. I agree he'll go to 75. And I tell you this much, I don't think that I would like to see him fight Caleb Plant.
That's all right. You took it out of my mouth. Well, you know what though? I think that I'm not gonna say anything because I like the guys, Benavidez or whatever, but that's gonna be an interesting fight.
Sure is, because Caleb Plant is there.
Yeah.
Caleb Plant is at his potential.
Yeah. Well, he's going to do the same thing that Dog did, but for the whole fight.
For the whole fight. He's got crazy stamina.
And he's going to throw a lot of punches.
And he's got enough thump.
And he got
All
pop.
you need is just enough thump. And honestly,
keep him honest.
I think David Benavidez is soft to the body, is what I saw last night, by the way. I think in general, because he was big, it wasn't super defined like that.
Right.
Now, a lot of Latin fighters don't get super defined like that. So, like, even you look at somebody like Mikey Garcia, who has crazy stamina, crazy in my top pound for pound list, he doesn't get ripped. That's just not his gene, that's just not his gene bill. And the last thing that I want to speak about was the first fight on the televised undercard, which was the Barrios fight against Akhmedov. Barrios came out and looked super sharp, super spry. He was the bigger fighter. He was the faster fighter. And he dropped Akhmedov, who Akhmedov had only had 7 professional fights to this point. He dropped Akhmedov in, I think it was the third round, second or third round. Akhmedov had he dropped, basically, he didn't get knocked down, but he put both his gloves on the canvas, got knocked off balance, and got buzzed. Worst thing in the world that Barrios could have done was to knock him down in the third round because this dude came out and punished this young man.
That's what I heard.
And there is no chance at all that this was the robbery of the night. There's no way that kid Barrios.
Now you feel like it was a robbery.
Hold on a second. The best case scenario, that kid got a draw, in my opinion. He knocked him down twice. He knocked him down again with a flash knockdown late.
Right.
He got beat up for I would say rounds 4 through 12. That kid won 1 round, which was the round that he dropped him in.
I think he might have won 2 rounds in between that, but then with that last round that he knocked him down.
What you saying? He still lost it.
But no.
He dropped him twice.
Right, yeah.
He dropped him twice.
So that's what 4 points?
This is what I'm saying. But I mean, this kid,
he squeaked it out to me. But
Akhmedov came off and his jaws broke. He tricked the kid into getting into a brawl.
Right.
And the kid's game was a boxing match. And he somehow or another got tricked into believing he needed to brawl. Right. It didn't work out right. That kid's going to be out of the ring for a long time.
Yeah, he got beat up.
So he got beat up.
So he broke, getting beat like that, very discouraged.
Yes.
Very discouraging, very.
Even if you got the dub.
Because if you think about this, sometimes, like I said, told people about the Mikey Garcia fight with Errol, the knockout would have been beautiful, but to beat a guy up like that is crazy.
All right, the casual fan doesn't have an appreciation for how great Mikey Garcia is.
Yeah.
Mikey Garcia is a great fighter. He's not a good fighter. Mikey Garcia is a great fighter.
All above average.
And there's nobody in the world that wants it with Mikey Garcia from 140 down.
And he got bageled.
And he got bageled.
He didn't win 1 round.
Yeah.
And I love, and honestly, probably the best fight that would be the best test for him would be against Regis. Right. And I don't know if Regis is refined enough because Mikey is like, Mikey.
You don't think so?
Man.
I think that Regis is a phenomenal fighter.
He's phenomenal. He's a phenom. I agree.
Smart, very, very
got big pop,
calculative, and he has a lot of ego, which is a lot of machismo, which is what you need. I think that Mikey is very established. I mean, and
highly skilled.
Highly skilled, very established. He has a great. He doesn't have a great trainer. He grew up in a great family of boxers.
It's a totally different. Yeah.
So it's different. And they just reiterate these things over and over.
Run it back.
Right, yeah,
it still works.
Oh, yeah, so it's like this. So you say, oh, man, the trainer. No, this guy grew up with this guy.
Yeah, he lives life.
Right,
he lives it. His brother, his dad.
Right. So it's like it's a family business. Man.
Yeah.
Well, but my thing about that is that just like the Triple G effect with the Errol Spence effect, when
very real.
Guys fight after you fight them, they're not the same fighter.
We're going to see what happens. It's very real.
So if Mikey fought Regis,
took a beating.
I think and Regis loves to go to the body as well.
Mikey a beating, and I didn't want to see that, to be honest. Right. And I hated that. I remember when he announced that I thought he was just talking because I heard it on one of the blogs. And I remember he announced that he wanted to move up to 47. First of all, I thought 47 was a bad move. Right. Secondly, I thought his first fight at 47 to be the best guy in the world at 47 is a terrible decision.
I think his idea was that if I go against this guy and I do well, because I think I can beat him. He
believes it. He didn't go in thinking he was going to lose.
He just beat AB.
Yeah.
He just beat Robert Easton. He beat him handily. Right?
Handily.
Yeah, sure.
Fights weren't even close.
He's like, man, well, listen, the other guy, he too slow for me. He too this for me. He too that for me. So the only perception of about Errol, like I said, okay, if Shawn does this, if Shawn does that. No. They said Errol's going to do this.
Right.
So it was no, They didn't see because they had never seen it.
Do other stuff.
Even though I've never seen Shawn do it, I take him to.
What if?
What if he can do it?
He's a professional.
Right.
I'm going to assume he can do it.
That's right. And so I don't even not think I don't doubt that he can do that. So that's my perception of it. So I go and I say, okay, we're going to prepare for this. We're going to prepare for that. I think they just prepare for one thing. He's going to come in forward, going to walk through the middle, and that's not what he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were right.
Yeah, it's the truth. So yeah, anyways, about that with Mikey, and the other fight that Mikey took some big shots in and he overcame was that fight against Sergey Lipnets. That was a really good fight. That was a really good showing.
I went to
rough
fight.
Yeah, so did we. As a matter, I think.
No,
we weren't at the fight.
In San Antonio.
Oh, that was in San Antonio. Yeah. He took that. Oh yeah, we sat behind Lipnet's manager. But yeah, he that was when he moved up to 40.
Right.
And he got that belt at 40. Mm-hmm. And I thought that the guys at 40 might be too heavy-handed for him. And I was so impressed with that fight. Because Lipnets hit him hard.
Right.
And
he's an elite fighter, but I just want to see what he looks like after the fight.
I agree. Right. And I think he's doing the right thing by taking this that he hasn't fought again recently.
I think that too. So he went, these are all tests that happened in the gym, right? So he sparred with Madonna, the big puncher, right? So he sparred Madonna. That's why they thought they would beat Errol, because I'm sure he beat Madonna up in the gym.
Right.
And other light middleweights and 147 pounders, because his skill set is so high.
Yes,
his boxing intellect is so high
through the roof
that he's blowing everybody out the water. So I figure, he's gonna beat Errol. Or he's gonna beat. So that's the key element, I think, though. So I mean, even with a fight like Regis, it would be very interesting. You know what I mean?
It would.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be a great fight.
I would like to see him fight Lomachenko.
I would like to see him beat up Lomachenko.
I would like to see that too.
Yeah,
I think that. What's funny about it is,
I think his hands are too heavy for Lomachenko.
Yeah.
This was funny about that too, because I believe that too. But what's funny about that is, Lomachenko fought. What's the guy name that beat him? Salido.
Yeah. Orlando Salido.
So listen, but he was so accomplished in the amateurs, right? But he was fighting little kids.
Yeah.
Like 16, 17-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids, right? And he was winning the Olympics, which is beautiful because it's hard to do.
Right.
Fighting the best young guys in the world.
Right.
So when he was fighting amateur, he really was a professional. He's like 27, 28. He's a professional. So he turns pro. His second pro fight,
he gets mauled.
Where he chooses the weakest of all the champions. So he thought,
giving you the Canelo Kovalev.
Yeah. We're gonna beat this guy. Because I know he can't do it. What happened is, that guy put the heat on his ass.
He put the heat on him, boy. He stayed on him, didn't he?
He stayed on him, mauled him.
Yeah.
He bullied him.
He bullied him. And so the funniest thing about it was that that's where he really is. So all this other stuff we say about him, no, he's the guy that lost to the worst, the weakest of the champions, Salido.
Right.
Who had been in wars. Think about all.
He was on his way out.
No, he was out. Just boxing.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I'll give one more check.
Yes.
Because he really didn't fight anymore after that. He beat him and he hadn't been fighting.
Went out to the sunset.
Yeah, because what happens is, so that's why I say that's where Lomachenko really is. And what I mean by that is he's that guy who's the 2 fights. Has he gotten better? We don't know. Because he hadn't fought anybody like that.
This is what I need to see.
Like
but once again, we're talking about a Bob Arum fighter.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a top-ranked situation where,
right.
Are we going to see it?
Right. Put it like this. 5 years ago, only in this era could he be so great.
I agree with
5 years ago, he would not be talking about it.
Because we're talking about him versus Terrence Crawford and Mikey Garcia and all those guys.
10 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about it. Because y'all remember Rafael Marquez?
Yeah, and also 10 years ago, by the way, a young guy named Manny Pacquiao just moved up to 47.
Right, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And he had ran up from 108,
Right,
he walked through everybody.
And he walked through anybody who wanted it.
So think about that. So you see what I'm saying? 10 years ago. So we talk about, it's all about timing. So,
I agree.
I completely agree.
So with Lomachenko, it's all about timing. I mean, it's like,
and it is about marketing too, like you were talking about earlier, because most of these guys are established by marketing and not actually the fighters that they're supposed to fight.
Right. Yeah.
Because you can hand pick your fight, which they do a lot of cherry picking now.
Right, yeah.
Then you can build this guy up to be something that he's really not until he gets into the real thunder.
Right.
You know, and this is
and by then you've already made the money. The network has already made the money. So whether he pans, if he pans out, even better. If not, then we got an upset and we got a rematch.
Exactly.
Because you know the deal is like with that. What you're saying is this is that there are two different things that happen in boxing. Either you build a fighter or you develop a fighter, right? So if you build a fighter, that's where you just get him fights. He's fighting undescripted guys, not good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just building his record, padding his record, building his record. Because you say those guys, the managers, they have a vested interest in him. Say we got to get him up to a certain point so we can make some money,
right?
And get our money back,
right?
Or make some money off of him. A lot of times they don't want to invest anything in a fighter, get the money back. So, or you develop him. Like Errol was developed,
which is why he has the skills that he has now.
But we see a lot of guys are built. They just get the fights, to where they're only it worth something. Because now they're making $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a fight.
Right.
Because in boxing, there's not a lot of money in boxing
until you get to the top.
You get to the top.
Yeah. Then it becomes lopsided.
There's a big gap.
Yes.
I mean, when I say a big gap. But these guys build these fighters up, but on weak and no foundation. So why would you build them up like that and not develop him, not test him from here to time to time?
I'm all the way live.
Yeah, I agree. Now, do you think that it'll ever be a union for the fighters? Because
that's something we talk about all the time on the show.
Yeah, I think that it won't be a union because it's too hard. It will put boxing out of business only because there's small time promoters that move the needle, right? It keeps the in small cities like club fights going, right? And they don't really make a lot of money unless you get a guy who's very popular within the city to sell tickets.
Okay.
Right? So if you have a union and the guy only can make so much money, that puts that guy out of the business because he can't afford those prices unless they would have just those prices to put like this. A kid from Dallas fights on Errol's card, right? Say hypothetically, at home he makes about $1,200 to $1,500 for a 4-round fight. Fights on Errol's card, he may make $4,000. It's a big fight, a big budget. See what I'm saying? So it's like the union would smash out the little guy.
Right.
You could only pay that guy $1,500. It's like even when you do the small club shows, those guys don't even want to sell tickets. They just want to fight. But it's a business. So I said, no, but you got to sell tickets because if your mother and father don't want to see you fight, why would we put you on a card?
Yeah,
it's true.
Right. So, I mean,
well, we talk about it in the context of benefits.
Yeah, and healthcare.
Because we've been through too many. I personally have been to too many gyms where you go work out and you see, oh man, there's so and so, and it's a champ that you knew from 10 or 15 years ago.
Rocky.
Right.
Yeah, that's literally can't talk, and that's just in a bad way.
Right. Very unfortunate.
And it happens all the time. I would say 80% of the time, or maybe even upwards. A crazy number.
90-something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
Terry Norris was there last
we saw him.
And you see, like, he's kind of messed up.
He's messed up. And we saw him at the Triple G Danny Jacobs fight and talked to him. And I saw him again. I said, hey, Mr. Norris, how you doing, man? It's good to see you again. I haven't seen you since New York. He was like,
yeah.
There's a few guys like the Riddick Bowe is like that, you know?
Man, it's like the CTE is real.
The CTE is real.
I mean, you take a lot of punches. And think about this, man. I started boxing when I was 5 years old. So I retired when I was 37. So if you think about all those years, amateur boxing.
It's a lot of punches.
So even with me in my gym, I make sure I have the most expensive insurance I can find. Because I want to make sure if something happens to somebody in the gym, that
they're good.
They're taken care of.
Yeah.
Because I know the situation. I know what the possibilities are.
You're really putting your life on the line.
And see, the brain damage or the punch drunk syndrome comes from the gym, not the fight.
Okay.
Think about that. Because you spar all these rounds. You fight 10, 12, 8. So
you sparred 200 rounds.
Yeah, but what happens is when you get into the fight, it just you dehydrated. So there's no fluid around, no water fluid
to protect the brain.
Protect the brain. And you may be taking punches in the gym, which is a whole nother situation. It's hard to gauge that, right? So for me, I'm looking at these guys. Hey, stop. Because I care about the fighters.
Yeah, you were a fighter.
And if you're in my gym, you my guy. Even though I'm training, you my guy. It's
your responsibility.
Yeah.
I get you take that responsibility.
Right. So without a doubt. So that's one of the key elements. Like a lot of guys are not experienced with seeing what pain looks like or knowing what it feels like. Because like now, like you have a lot of boxing trainers who never box, and that's okay because we need them too, right? But it's hard to recognize somebody being hurt if you've never been hurt. So think about the coaches who coach from a motivational perspective. You can motivate a guy to do something, and you can't because that guy may be hurt, but you don't see it.
Right.
So you gotta speak to him.
He may be hiding the fact that he's hurt, and you can't picture up. You can't pick up the thing.
Cognitive,
and you have to talk to him from a perspective of pain, or being hurt, not from a perspective of let's go get him. It's for your kids. It's for this.
Right. Gassing him into something that's actually going to ruin his life.
Really, you can't because you can't motivate him to do that if he can't do it.
His body can't respond.
He can't acknowledge what.
Yeah, and he's not in the right state of mind.
Did you say something?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I said it's for your kids. Get out there.
Go out there, So and that's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. He's like, and he's in the corner like this. They talk to him like,
yeah. Did you? How many times you see that?
And then,
you see it so many times.
And then,
you all right? You all right?
Because what's the funny thing about it? Because if you ask him if he's all right, and you like, yeah. Then you say, what did I say?
Huh? I'm all right. Let's go.
Damn. Let's go. You know, because you're right. So
just let's go. That's
no. I want to know that you heard me. Acknowledge it. Yeah. Say what I said. You said something?
So, yeah,
I just thought,
it, man.
I thought I was just meditating here.
Oh my goodness!
So you gotta really be able to see is what I'm saying, and acknowledge it because it's really real. Like it's really real. Everybody who steps in the ring may have some sort of effect from, getting hit in the head. I mean, just like football players. You see them? And
there's clear-cut evidence that you're not supposed to be hitting your head once, let alone multiple times.
Yeah, so but don't say it too many times.
Don't
say it too many times out loud. I still make a living doing that.
Listen, I get it.
He's trying to put you out of business.
And you're making a good living.
I'm not a thespian, right? So
we don't know yet. You might be a thespian.
We haven't seen it in your tool bag yet. I don't know.
Bring out something new all the time.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hear ye.
All right, folks. This has been a great conversation with a potential trainer of the year, Derrick James. Coming to us out of Texas. Thanks for stopping by.
Dallas,
you know how busy you are.
Specify Dallas.
Okay, out of Dallas. I'm sorry. See, for us, I'm wearing an Oakland shirt. I'm from LA, California, and we are up in the Bay right now because it's a cool space outside. So we represent for the whole state. But shout out to coming out from Dallas, Texas. Y'all put on for Dallas, and it was very clear.
I saw that last night.
I saw that. Dallas represented.
Oak Cliff to be specific.
Oak Cliff. Okay. I think Baby in the Fishnets was from Oak Cliff. Actually, I asked her.
She had a tattoo on her back.
It said OC.
Oak Cliff.
OC. What is that? What's that say?
What that girl was from? She was from L.A. She was an L.A. girl. That was the girl Kanye was singing about. L.A. girl. You remember that? L.A. girl.
Oh my goodness.
That's who she was. Don't put her on us, man.
Oh man.
She could go through the airport with that fishnet shit.
No chance.
Why not?
She was butt naked. Literally.
Why you can't go to the airport?
Cheeks out.
They can see everything. That's what TSA want anyway.
All right, you do it next time. We'll see.
Well, let me take you in the back room and see if you all right. What you got on you?
Bend over and cough because I can see through everything else.
Oh my goodness. And on this edition of the lewd version of the Ozone, I want to thank Derrick for coming out. Congratulations on a big dub.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
I want to leave you with a quote from Helen Keller. Yeah. A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. Keep your eyes open, folks. Be ready to adjust. We're all in this thing together. You have been listening to the Ozone.
Ozone.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life.